What's up, guys? It's been a while. Sorry about that, but we wanted to film this one for you because it was a really interesting one. 2000 and what year is this thing? 2014 Silverado or Sierra? Silverado. Yeah, I guess it would help if I knew what I was working on. So customer complaint was that her ex-boyfriend changed the throttle body, or he cleaned the throttle body, and then either the truck doesn't run now or doesn't run right. I don't know. It got towed in here. So I hooked up on it to scan, and that was when I decided that I wanted to film a video on this for you guys so you could see what's going on with this one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just do an all system on it. 4 codes. Oh. Yeah. 4 codes in the ECM, 6 codes in the ABS module, 1 code in the power steering module. And this is the reason why I decided to film a video on this. 40 codes in the body control module. That's actually the most I have ever seen in one module. In total, this truck has 65 codes stored in it. Wow. So the funny part is the running issues. She's talking about the throttle body. There is a code for high idle speed. 3 of the codes are just coming from 1 oxygen sensor. So probably just looking at a bad sensor on that one. Left and front, signal, circuit, control module, communication issue, communication, CAN bus off. Those are history. Current, though, we have invalid data received from BCM. Power steering control module is telling us we're getting invalid data from the brake control module, but that's a history. And the BCM, I'm not even going to read these off. We've got a bunch of different voltage codes, communication codes, lamp circuit codes, hood ajar circuit, Windows switches. Essentially, it's probably, if it can throw a code for it, it is currently throwing a code for it. These all say passed and failed, and then some of them say current. Yikes. Okay, radio says that we low voltage on control module power circuit. HVAC module says low voltage. Radio says low voltage. Low speed CAN. The most bus. I don't know. It's probably something that I should know, but I don't know what the most bus is. Lost comm with Lin bus. Okay. And then the HVAC. High voltage open. That's probably related to the BCM as well. I don't know. Okay. Why don't you guys go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let us know where you guys would want to start on something like this. I'll give you a second. Go do it right now. Go do it. Where I'm going to start is I'm going to check the battery voltage, see if it's good. I saw that the battery was like 1.5 years old, or what year is it? No, what year is it now? It's 2025 now. I did see the battery was decently old. I know that these batteries are really good at failing right outside of warranty, and if it's a 1-year battery, it's probably outside of warranty. So I'm going to check voltage on that. A lot of times we get weird communication issues just from a battery. Make sure that's good. I'm going to clear the codes on it, see what comes back, and then we'll go from there. Should we try to start it? Wow. Dash works. Got. There's your high idle speed code. I bet you homie probably messed up one of the little plastic gears inside that throttle body when he took it off and cleaned it. That's probably what that is. Interesting that we're getting all those codes and there's no lights on the dash except check engine light and a tire pressure light. That's crazy to me. All right, well, battery sounded like it had a nice strong crank. I'm gonna go ahead and just clear these codes. And we did save the health reports. So we have all the, I'm not gonna look at freeze frame data on 65 codes. If y'all saw hating in the comments about that, you can go to a different channel. I'm not, dude. I'm not gonna look in all that. All right. Brake control module fault came back instantly. One fault. God, that's annoying. Was it doing that before?
No.
It's interesting. All right, rear defogger circuit and invalid data received from BCM. That was the first thing that came back. The body control module. Okay. Check engine light is off. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out on this one a little bit. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna get into the ECM here. Okay. We do have these O2 sensor codes are pending now. And it's probably not gonna throw that high idle one until I hit the throttle body and it sticks again like that. Has a couple faults and then it'll... It's like it doesn't return, you know? Some clacking.
That's not you doing
The clack?
it. No, the...
Oh no, I'm not holding it. I just tapped the throttle in it.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, like I'm off it. Yeah. Let's see if we can get into the throttle position data. See if we got a PID for the 5-volt reference and stuff. Make sure all that stuff is good. I don't know if you want to try to film the scanner. Make sure we're not like overheating or something. So it does look like that. That downstream sensor on bank 2 is stuck rich.
Let's spray around the throttle body.
Okay. Brandon is out there. Brandon's out there checking for a vacuum leak right now. I'm not doing that. Our MAF sensor's doing some weird stuff too.
The map?
The MAF. Yeah. It's bouncing up and down, but it's bouncing between 9 and 14 grams per second.
What?
Yeah.
That's a
So either double or triple what it's supposed to be reading. Oh, it's down to 7. Eight, 7. Well, if you do have a vacuum leak on there,
It sounds like there's probably a surge.
it's surging now, yeah.
I'll smoke test it in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a smoke test.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, bro. Short-term fuel trim, bank 1 and 2, negative 100%.
Impressive. Just take all the fuel. It's
I want to see if we have calm with the BCM.
I don't know if that's doing it. I don't know what's going on with it.
It's definitely surging.
Wait, did they say they did the throttle body?
Yeah, so
She
the
said her
ex
ex-boyfriend.
When?
took it off.
Took it off.
Recently took it off and cleaned it. And posted about it, put it back on, and it hasn't run right since.
Posted about it?
Posted about it.
Oh, you had to throw that in there.
That's how she found out.
Social media.
So, I love it.
That's how these dumbass kids get themselves in trouble now, dude. Talking about stuff on the internet.
Why is it? This whole thing is broken.
The coolant bottle?
The battery.
Well, yeah, the battery does have that gangster lean.
So does the coolant bottle. Look at it. Oh, it's all.
Oh!
It's all broken.
Film that, dude.
Oh my god.
Wait.
Zoom in there, dude.
This been jumped.
There's a truck.
Zoom in there, dude.
Well,
That's.
so I was telling Fred.
Oh my god, this is.
Hey,
Oh, that's because it's just fender liner.
do you think? Look over here.
Oh, hold on.
Look
Look
at-
do that. There's nothing for the battery. There's no tie down.
Yeah, but
It just throws it into the cylinder.
we got a whole. I don't know if there is something going on here, but we got a whole nest of wires that are right up against a jagged piece of metal,
Oh, come here.
as well as a twisted pair.
Come here.
That's fantastic.
Since you were looking.
I don't know if those are wires or if those are just it rubbing against the metal, but something's been rubbing through right there.
Oh my god.
All the way to the wires.
All right, guys, well, it's the end of the day here today. We're going to pull this thing in, and we'll be back in the morning to give you some updates and show you some stuff.
This is that moment in your project where you go, I'll deal with that tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, so we're back here this morning. It's a little early. We got coffee though, so we're good to go. I think what we're gonna do for now, we're gonna focus on the check engine light codes, try to make sure that this thing's running right, considering the fact that the girl didn't even mention anything about any other lights on the dash, and a lot of that stuff did clear, so we're gonna go ahead and just start there. So what I want to do, since Brandon was spraying some brake cleaner around yesterday when it was running, and it did seem like we might have a vacuum leak, I'm going to go ahead and just smoke test this thing. All right, we got this all hooked up. Let's go ahead and smoke this thing. So we were thinking, based on where he was spraying, that he might not have put the throttle body gasket back in it, but we'll see. Oh, looks like my inflator is leaking. Oh my god. Let me fix this, hold on. So far all we're seeing, we're getting a pretty decent amount out of these PCV hoses on both sides. I don't know if you guys can see it coming out of this one into the intake tube here. So I'm gonna check out and see if that's a normal amount. If so, then we're gonna go ahead and proceed with looking into this throttle body. So we came up with a test we're gonna do to check the PCV valve, which is down there in that little cranny. Since we already had this off to do the smoke test, I went ahead and got into the computer so that we could check the throttle sweep. I did notice that it's sitting here at 30% open currently. Don't know if that's correct or not, but we do have a little test here where we can go ahead and it'll do a sweep on its own. So let's see what it does. You guys hear that? Alright, so we're at 100%. Does sound a little crunchy, and I'm going to go ahead and just release it now. Alright, we're sitting there stuck at 33% and then back to 30. So, don't know if that's normal quite yet, but we're going to go ahead and do our test on the PCV valve, and then most likely we're looking at a throttle body. The test that we had was we took smoke and we were pumping it into the PCV the opposite direction to see if it wasn't, you know, closing all the way and if we get smoke coming back out. We actually did, and well, unfortunately we're gonna have to do the PCV valve anyway because I went to jiggle off this flimsy little piece of hose that I had on there for the test, and the nipple on the PCV valve came off with it. So I guess either way, we're putting a PCV on this. They have it at the parts store down the street for like 15 bucks. I'm gonna just go grab one, throw it in it. We'll throw this back together. I was able to find in here a PID for this, desired throttle. Desired throttle of 33%, so I do think that 33% number is an actual value that, you know, this thing's got in there. It's not like some weird funky position it was getting stuck at. So we're gonna try this PCV valve since we have to anyway. I'll throw it back together and we'll test from there. So while we're waiting on that PCV valve to show up, I did notice that, well, I already cleaned it up, but inside here was just completely coated in like sand. So I looked over here at the air box, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but half the bolts are loose. So the whole top part is just resting on here, probably just sucking in unfiltered air. So that's not great. I think you can kind of see all that sand, like dust residue right here, all inside. Oh my god, it's worse over here. It's just like silt. Yeah, so that's cool. I'm gonna take this air box off and see what that filter and everything like looks like in there. This is the inside of that air box, and then this thing's got a sweet lifetime performance filter here. I love it when people put these pieces of shit in their car. And then also think that that means they never have to change it ever again. It's also all smashed and stuff, so it's probably not sealing right. Let's see. Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Look at that. Performance, dude! I'm gonna put an air filter in this thing too. This is bad, dude. That is so bad. Something's up with this poor thing. I hope it's not hurt now that it's been sucking in dirt for, I don't even know. How long do you think that filter's been in there, bro?
At least 10 jumps.
So I went ahead and I cleaned out the whole inside of the air box, got this coupler all cleaned out, fresh air filter in here. Whoever took it off last had stripped 2 of these screws into the air box, so I went ahead and got those fixed. I just went ahead and just put a longer bolt with some a nut on the bottom side so it actually kind of clamped down, and now it's nice and steady. PCV hose is back on, clamped back on the throttle body. I wanted to show you guys something. So that other one broke just from jiggling that little hose off, right? But it was old, so you know, whatever. We got a new one from the parts store, and I was threading it in and I heard just a little crack sound, right? And then the wrench starts free spinning, and yeah, this one just split in half upon installation. So wasn't really any resistance when I was threading it in. Didn't seem like it was cross threading or anything. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of funny because when I took it out of the box, I looked at Tony and I was like, dude, this thing feels cheaper than the broken one that came off of it. And then it broke literally 2 seconds later as I was just threading it in there. So we're gonna get another PCV valve, and I'll update you guys after that. I want to go ahead and just give you a little update since we're still waiting on that third PCV valve. This also had a downstream oxygen sensor code for bank 2. So went ahead and did a couple tests down here, and I want to just drop a little bit of knowledge your way. This is kind of just some generic test procedure type stuff for oxygen sensors that I like to do. Typically on your 4-wire sensors, you're gonna have 2 wires that are the same color. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're black, sometimes they're gray. Typically the 2 same color wires, that's gonna be your heater control circuit. Good test to do on that one, just basic multimeter, and you're gonna set it to your ohms of resistance. And it's hard to do it with the camera in hand, but I'm gonna back probe into these 2 ends of the wire here so I can show you guys what I found on this one. And of course I can't do it with one hand. Anyway, I can't do it with the camera in my hand, but what you're going to want to do is measure the resistance across the 2 terminals on that connector. So thank you, but it's fine, I'll just explain it. You're going to measure the resistance across these 2 terminals, whether you back probe into the connector back here, or if you just touch the leads to the 2 terminals that correspond to those wires on this side. Typically, off the top of my head, I think a heater circuit's supposed to have between like 10 and 20 ohms. The one on this sensor has 0.3. So that's telling us that this heater circuit inside this sensor is shorted internally. The other sensor on this side, I did it just as a comparison because the connector was right there, it was easy to get to. Is an 11.9, so we know that one's probably good. This one's probably bad. The other quick test that you can do while you're down here is also using your ohms with the key off. We got the connector on the truck side, and we know that our heater circuit and our variable resistor circuit for the sensor are on either side of the connector. So the 2 on the left and the 2 on the right both go to different control circuits in the computer. So if we just quickly just touch those, don't shove your test leads into there because you don't want to stretch the terminals out, but if you go ahead and just touch those, you should be getting ohm readings in the hundreds of thousands on both of those. That's letting you know that you're just reading the resistance of stuff inside the computer module and not some weird other interference from other things. I checked that one too, it's also good. So we're gonna go ahead and put a sensor in this thing, and we'll let you guys know if that fixes it. Frank's gonna work on excavating that sensor out of there because it looks like someone was out mudding or something. You can see that around both the downstream sensors it's caked in there, so it's fossilized. But we've had a couple cues here that this truck has some jump damage, being jumped. Namely, up top in the wheel well, you can see that the tire is scraped on both sides. This one definitely more than the other. Someone has, as you guys saw, because these fender aprons are all wobbly and worn out, someone cut all this stuff away to put these bigger wheels and tires on here.
Which happened to be bent.
Which also happened to be bent. And then they were saying something about a transmission issue, and we were under here and noticed that, yeah, that's the transmission mount. So we're going to go ahead and put a tranny mount in this thing too, otherwise I don't really want to be responsible for what's going to happen to this drive shaft and the diff. Oh. Yeah, that might need a
Rear section of exhaust.
Jesus, dude. Oh, you guys cut the zip tie?
Yeah.
They had a zip tie holding this poor ABS wire, and it was like guitar string tight, just freaking wound up right here to this brake line, and it was just yanking on this thing like crazy. So every time they jumped it, it was probably just pulling on that sensor like crazy. So that's cool. Hopefully we don't get a code coming for any of that stuff, but we got to go drive it. But a few things got to happen first.